is, what is your favorite part about being a woman?
Oh, God. How long do we have? Oh, Celia.
I don't have anywhere to be, so.
I've never been asked this question. Whew. But it feels good in my body.
Ashley Meyer is a seasoned podcaster and business coach who helps entrepreneurs build a lasting legacy and increase engagement through podcasting without the stress. With a personal journey of overcoming obstacles, including 20 years in the closet, Ashley now channels her voice to empower others to break through their own barriers and transform their lives and businesses. As a veteran of the U.S. Air Force, Ashley's values of authenticity, integrity, and personal integrity guide her coaching. She knows firsthand what it's like to feel voiceless and disempowered, which fuels her passion for helping others to step into their own power. Whether your challenges are silencing you or holding you back, Ashley has been there and will be your guide. Ashley's unique approach focuses on empowering you to see yourself as the hero in the mirror, capable of achieving anything you desire. You've always had the solution, you just needed the right support to unlock it. And I will include in the show notes links for you to connect with Ashley and how you can get into contact with her if you are ready to turn your passion into a thriving podcast. I love that. That's a really good one. Good for grounding. I'm recording already.
Perfect.
Welcome to Openly Spoken, the podcast to help you show up, speak out, and be seen. On this podcast, we talk about self-love, relationships, sexuality, spirituality, and more. Hi, I am your host, Celia Antonio, and I am a relationship and sexuality coach for ambitious women with a history of toxic relationships who desire to reconnect to their sensuality and who desire to feel worthy of receiving healthy love. I celebrate you for hitting play on today's episode. I hope that you find this very supportive and helpful. And if you could show some support to the podcast by hitting subscribe on YouTube or on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, wherever it is that you are listening to or watching this episode, it would mean the absolute world to me. Thank you so much for being here. Now let's dive into today's episode.
It was very much like my nervous system was like online, like ready to just, I don't know. I was like, oh shit, like what's this about? You know, I did like a check-in and I was like, I ain't having a bad day just because my nervous system says, fuck you, Ashley. So I like turned it all around and I had a great day.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just so
That's
interesting
awesome.
this morning that my body was just like, and I was like, oh my God, I'm stuck in this body. What am I going to do? Okay, I'm going to regulate and I'm just going to decide to have a good day. So,
yeah,
you know, here's me going on 7:00 in the PM. I fucking pulled it off. I pulled it off. I'm so proud.
Yes.
Feels good.
What you shared reminded me of yesterday. I woke up and I was like holding my breath because I had this dream that someone was trying to break into my home. And I was like in my mudroom right by my front door, like holding my breath so the person wouldn't know there's a human being on the other side.
Oh my God.
And it took me a second to be like when you said I'm trapped in my body, it took me a second to be like, I am here. That was a dream. I am safe. I can breathe now.
Yeah. Yeah. A friend of mine she's been like driving all over the country, which is super inspiring in its own way. But she's like, I'm talking to my body, Ashley. I'm literally like, hey, hi, body, put your hand on your chest or your legs or your back or your head and just, hey, Ashley's head.
Yeah.
What's going on? I see you. What do you need me to do right now? Oh, you want me to make some tea? Got you. Feliz Navidad, baby.
Feliz Navidad tea.
And
getting festive early this year, huh?
I stay ready for Christmas. Here in the Midwest, they just announced that the spirit Halloween stores and that whole chain, they're gonna also like use the space for Christmas after. So right now it's like huge, pumpkins, witches, goblins, and everything. And then they'll kind of clear it for Christmas. And they've never done that before. So I'm really stoked because Halloween's cool. And spoiler alert, I'm gonna go as Elphaba, but from Wicked.
How fun. Are you excited for the movie to come out?
That's why I'm going as Elphaba.
I'm so excited. Yes.
Yeah, but I need Christmas to be here. Let's get into Halloween first. But I'm a little bit impatient.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, the movie. Oh my God.
Have you seen the play?
I saw it
or the musical?
I saw it on, I think you still call it Broadway, Chicago. Never in New York. So that's, I've seen it 2 or 3 times.
Nice.
And I just keep the soundtrack on loop. Idina Menzel is one of my favorite singers. So Defying Gravity is freaking life-changing. Like when she's like, defy!
That's my favorite.
Like, oh my God! But
yeah, the chops on these actors, right?
Holy hell. Holy hell. But the song, oh shit, what's it called? It's like, I've heard it said that people come into our lives for a reason. And you're like, oh, what is this? It's all about friendship and like, because the Wicked Witch and the White Witch, like they started as friends, and like actually the White Witch was like really mean. So the irony is that like the characters were sort of flipped from what we think of, Yeah. And so the song that they sing to each other, I'm in tears like every single time. And it's just like, you made me who I am. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
I can't think of the title of the song, but I think that one
I know which one you're talking
more favorite
about.
than Defying Gravity. But in terms of performance, Defying Gravity.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah.
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 I'm excited. Oh. I'm excited.
I love that you're also excited about that, because I'm very excited about it. And my husband doesn't care. I'm like, you're taking me on my birthday. He's like, okay, I guess that's what we're doing.
He's like, no big deal. And you're like, get hype. This is a huge deal.
Yes. Yes.
Your birthday, which is
so you
when?
mentioned earlier that you regulate your nervous system.
Yeah.
What is something that you do, like an actual physical thing that you do?
Yeah.
For the people listening.
So my friend who does the body touching thing, that's new to me. I'm not currently practicing that actively. Have I done it in a pinch, like when I'm right on the edge of an anxiety attack? Yes. Yes, I have. But on the regular, you'll see me just kind of take a deep breath, and then sometimes I will shake my hands out, and I don't know. I work with my hands a lot also. I do woodworking and other shit like that. And so I'm not sure if it's like a muscular, got to get some energy out of these hands, or if it's just my body is holding too much. And so when I feel like I need to regulate and something's off, that's kind of my first, I'm like, ooh, even if I don't like something, there you go. Did you see the face I just did? Yeah. And I just go kind of like, get off of me. Like, are you a bug crawling out of my body or something? So yeah, I feel like just movement in general, but for me, it manifests a lot in my hands and shoulders. I will also find myself separating from other people. Like if I'm around people, I just need to not be in that energy. And, all people have energy. So I don't want to pick up on whatever you've got going on, the other people in my space. And so while I'm regulating, I will often be like solo. I might just like take 5 steps this way if I can't leave the room, or I might just leave the room, take a break. Yeah. Because that's how energy works, is that, you're around people and it's like, oh, something's off. And maybe it's not even you. maybe it's just the situation or the people that are around you. But you could absolutely need to regulate from that. So a couple of ideas, but it works well for
Yeah.
me. Then it's like, okay, reset. I'm back. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And I think
I
that you
really
give other
resonate
people
with,
permission as well when you do that.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when you just demonstrated like the, yeah, I'm back. If you exhale with sound, it really lets other people be like, oh, I can make a weird noise. Cool.
Yeah.
Let me do that.
No.
So we're so used to holding everything in. Yeah. I so resonate with the piece about going off on your own when you're around people. I'm definitely the type of person when I socialize, I take more than one bathroom break, and I'm not going because I need to go to the bathroom. I'm going just to like breathe for a second and just to like take a break from all the, especially if I'm in a room where a lot of people are talking at once and there's that kind of murmur of a crowd. Sometimes I need just a little bit of, okay.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's been a journey of accepting that and like not judging that part of myself and being like, oh, what's wrong with me? I can't just like stay in that socializing energy. It's like, it doesn't mean anything's wrong. You like to recharge a bit. Go recharge.
Right.
There's no shame in that.
Yeah. Yeah. That question is so fascinating when we identify a behavior and then our first response is to ask, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Which isn't that just an indicator of all that programming, all the shit that has been piled onto us? If, and this is not just you, by the way, of course I've had the same thought. I've asked the same question. But if when we notice a behavior, the first response is that something is wrong, and what could it be? Other than, what if instead you said, oh, isn't that so interesting? I'm doing this odd thing right now. Isn't it interesting? Rather than already say what's wrong. It's very interesting.
Or like what you said earlier of just saying hi to it. Just being like, oh, I feel this anxiety in my chest. Hi, anxiety. Or not even labeling it as anxiety, just noticing the raw sensation that's there. Because I feel like that adds a lot of hang-ups too. Yeah. Like our labels of anxiety or stress. Like it just like adds another layer on it that kind of makes it worse.
Yeah. I go both ways with that. Because to label something is to limit it. And a lot of times, I don't know what the hell it is that I'm experiencing or feeling. And, first of all, language and emotion are processed in a different place in the brain. So it makes sense that I don't have the words to say what it is that's coming through my body. But I do think that to describe it, perhaps could be useful, but maybe if we just didn't attach to, like, anxiety is a big one right now because it has a stigma and all that. But I guess what I'm getting at is, how do we describe it in a way but not attach to the words and just, sort of like let go a little bit more, which I would say is the theme for me of 2024. Most of the way through our conversation on my podcast, and I can't be sure, but I'm 99% sure that I mentioned the theme of letting go because it was prevalent for me then as it is now. But yeah, just describing like, oh, this sensation, it feels like, da 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 da, like it feels like the color blue and like a really intense, midnight navy blue with like maybe some intensity. I don't know. I just love color. Or it's like a tightness, like it's just so tight. Where is it tight? Okay. Maybe it's tight, like in my upper back. I just feel like there's some weight on me, something that's just making me want to crunch down, get small. What the hell is that? And the more you can describe it, I think then the more you pinpoint where the hell it is in your body. And that also will lend itself to your regulation, because then maybe like jumping jacks, putting your arms like this, and you can be like, I'm free of this feeling. I don't want to hold it anymore. So yes to the describing it, no to the labeling it.
Yeah. Yeah. I love this because this is exactly what I do with my one-on-one coaching clients. I have them describe what they're feeling, and then I also add the extra step of then checking in with your body and asking, is my description accurate?
Yes.
Like I just said, it's this tight midnight blue feeling. Is that true? Like, is that what it is, or is it something else?
Right now it's something else. Oh yeah. I feel like a spring right now. Like a
where?
In my, like right on top of my stomach, like it's a spring sitting on top of my stomach into my chest. And it's like bouncing my head like I'm a bobblehead or something. Yeah.
Is it comfortable or uncomfortable?
Yes, it's quite comfortable. Yes.
Okay.
And it feels like riding a cloud. Yeah.
Cool.
And all day today, as I was trying to regulate, I kept noticing that my thoughts were like, zing, zing. And I'm like, whoa, that's so interesting. But what perspective do I have when I can sit back and watch the thoughts?
And watch it.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's next level. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But they were particularly all over the place. Like, mad crazy. And so I was just like, this is so interesting. And I wonder now if it's not this spring energy that was kind of, fueling that, if you will. Just something to ponder.
Yeah.
For sure.
I like the awareness you're able to have of watching your thoughts go zing, zing. I like that description too, zing.
Yes. A couple of them caught me and I was like, oh, let's go. And then I'd be like,
let's meander on over that way.
Yes. And then I was like, we just wasted like 12 minutes on that. Really? Is that really where you wanted to go? Yes.
Yeah. I'm working with a one-on-one nervous system regulation coach right now.
Yes.
So that's a part of why I also asked you, like, what do you do for nervous system regulation? Because I came into these sessions, we had our second session today. I came into the sessions not really knowing what to expect.
Yeah.
But just knowing that like nervous system regulation is good.
Yes. Yes.
That's a good thing.
Yes. I also ground, go outside.
Yeah.
And I sleep grounded.
Yes, get your bare feet in the grass.
We have a mat under our sheet that is plugged into the ground outlet port thing.
Nice.
Yep.
I like the energy of earth.
Yeah, the energy of earth. I also have a tea that is like a root-based dandelion something, and it's quite grounding as well. Like in lieu of going outside barefoot. It's just hard to describe, like just very grounding. Like it would take my springy energy right now, it would just pull it right down, and just from drinking it. It's nothing in it other than tea, but it's quite fascinating, the effect on your body, how different herbs and things in nature. So that is another aspect of my personal regulation practice. And I guess I've just done it for so long that sometimes I find myself regulating and I didn't even notice I'm doing it because I've just learned what I need. And so, I already brewed this tea, and this is a fruity tea. So it's kind of like keeping me up.
Uplifting a
bit. Yep. It has like natural sugars and things like that. But then another practice that I've really taken on in 2024 is deciding what to feel, like deciding the emotion that will characterize my day. And then these actually have energetic resonance, which are, like measurable on an fMRI or other energetic machine. Like you can see it. You can see that you're regulated. And this is like at the cutting edge of all that we're studying about mental wellness, personal development, all that shit. Like this is the new. And what's crazy is it's measurable, but like I don't own an fMRI, right? We don't have access to like the university down the street, and you can't like walk in and just say, hey, I think I'm regulated right now, hook me up to that proby thing, like just stick the shit all over and tell me I'm regulated. And so we need to like learn to look for the signals. And I think I've recognized the signals within myself. And so I could tell you, if you, Celia, were to say, hey, Ash, are you regulated right now? Or like dysregulated, something going on? I could do a scan and I could tell you energetically. I would be like, yep. Or there's something kind of fucked up in the field, if you know what I mean. And it's hilarious. But I'm quite sure, like with over 90% certainty, that if you were to hook me up to the machine and I don't see the results, but I'm telling you whether I'm regulated, I'm quite sure that I would be able to tell you what the machine could say. Because it's identifiable. And the more we practice it, this is the point of what I'm saying, the more we practice knowing what regulation feels like. And for me, that is empathy, passion, enthusiasm, excitement, joy, love, compassion, peace, which, by the way, I'm describing things that I've been practicing generating for myself for no reason. And those experiences, when I call them up, they are what regulate me. Versus like I had a shitty day, something shitty happened, I got into a car accident, or my automatic freaking credit card payment didn't pull the way that I wanted it to, which is what happened yesterday. Shit can dysregulate you, right? These are like normal everyday occurrences. They didn't stock my protein that I like at the store. Ugh, what?
Or like, the tree that fell on your roof.
Or the tree that fell on my house. External things can try to decide how regulated you are. But when you have a practice, it completely changes the energy, completely changes your life.
Yes. And I just want to highlight that you said the word practice. Like it's something that you need to come back to.
Yeah.
Again and again, so that you can create those body memories. Like you said, we're learning how to remember what feeling regulated feels like. Yeah.
I'm glad that you pointed that out, because I think I used to think that there was a pinnacle and like this awesome version of me that I would become and then just be her forever. And it doesn't work like that. So I'm sorry to like let anybody down who thought, that when you are enlightened and when you become the 2.0, like that's it. They make movies about you and write books and freaking songs, and you can go and be in the Wicked movie. Like, yeah, you can do all that, but it doesn't quite work that way. It's okay to have backslides and to not always be that put together, but it doesn't mean you let go of the practice.
Yeah. You mentioning just now, like that they write songs about you and that you'll be in the Wicked movie, kind of distracted me to ask you a question that's not related to what we're talking about, but it is related to Wicked.
Yes. Okay. Let's go.
Okay. I have no idea if you're a fan of Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
But I love her. And it's been really cool to see her talk about wanting to play Galinda for years. Like she's talked about it in interviews for years. And now she's done it and we're about to see it. And it's not like she just got lucky and made it happen. Like, she showed up every day. She repeated that affirmation. She showed up to, I don't know who the director's name was, but she like kept being like, hey, I'm available for this role. Like,
Yeah.
are you auditioning yet? Are you auditioning people yet? Are you doing it yet?
Yeah.
And I know she had to like dismantle her whole pop star persona and relearn how to sing from a place that wasn't stylized in the Ariana Grande style.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh my God. First of all, I'm so happy for her. Just like to have a dream and then realize it. There's not a lot in this world like that. It's pretty damn special. And I think that it's doable for any one of us. And what I heard as you're describing that was how she had decided and then just made herself available over and over and over. And it's just like,
yes, you have to be persistent.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that even for me, sometimes as I'm building my business and showing up in the world, I forget that repetition is, like flexing. It's like the rep. It's just literally a rep. Like, let's do it. Let's go.
Yeah.
And so
you need a spotter?
There's that. Yes, I do. Come over, please. I'm lifting heavy. Yes. So there's that part that really excites me for her. And I also just want to, I guess, comment on like women supporting women and how freaking important that is. We, as a gender structure, have not been the most supportive of one another. We've not been cheerleaders and advocates and just, people who would uplift another woman. Like, I think that unfortunately in our society, we get more of the claw situation, the tear someone else down because they have
the mean girls.
The mean girls, exactly. That's why that was such a huge movie.
Yeah, that's why that movie resonated, because it's like that's how it was to be in middle school and high school.
Yes.
Hopefully it's not like that anymore, but that's how it was for our generation.
Yeah. Yeah. But I even hear a lot of people, like with Ariana for sure, but Taylor Swift as well, same thing. And they're like, oh, who is she? Da 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 da. And like discrediting just things that she has accomplished. And it's forgetting she's done the reps. Where are your reps?
Yes.
You want to be on that level? Do that number of reps. Like, this is MJ, Kobe Bryant, anybody who's ever been, that's a sports analogy. I apologize. I don't think you're like super into sports, but
Michael Jordan.
You want to.
Is MJ?
Yes.
Right?
But you want to be at the top. And then when you are at the top, you're the first in the gym and the last out. What?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
You're Michael fucking Jordan at the top. There's no one greater. Kobe Bryant, same thing. And he would have people come into him at the gym and they would get there. He was already there. And then he would just keep practicing until the other guys who came after him left. And then they were like, yo, Kobe, what's going on? Like, you've been here forever, man. And he's like, I just had to show you that I would outwork you. So I wasn't going to let you leave before me.
It's so savage. I love it.
And it's like, but we forget that people at the top are at the top for that reason. Commitment to craft.
Yeah.
And, this week I'm asking myself, what am I committed to? It's a really, really important question, because one of the things that a pinnacle of Hero in the Mirror coaching is when I am building something in the world or I'm doing something, anything, where do I check in? How do I know that I'm on track? Who's going to tell me that? It's me. It's me. And there's no other standard. I can't call my mom. I can't ask my wife, I can't call you, I could call you, we can talk about things, but it's like, I know if I'm showing up and doing the reps, right? Obviously, like giving ourselves grace, and allowing ourselves to be flawed or rest and all those things too, but you set your own standard.
Yeah. I love that, because to tie that in with the piece about women supporting other women, I think the reason why we don't default into that is because we are socialized to see other women as our competition.
Yeah.
But what you just said about you yourself are the one you check in with, you need to be your own competition.
Yeah.
Like, you're competing with the version of you that you were yesterday, and you're just day by day getting a sliver of a hair better, a sliver of a hair better, a sliver of a hair better.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I think for a long time that sliver of a hair really pissed me off. But I've
right?
grown
Because it feels like you're not getting anywhere.
Yes. And I need traction so I can be like, ha, yes, I did that. See?
Yeah.
But again, just being in this experience of a life that's called Ashley Meyer, you learn, oh shit, that thing that tripped me up yesterday. Okay, wow. I see how I was in that conversation, and how, of course, they got pissed off at me. Of course, they didn't feel like I was listening because I was thinking about my freaking bank situation. Real present, Ash. Good job. So it happens. And, the more we can just call things out like that, we continue to become that sliver of a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Ariana freaking Grande, she was amazing before she was on this pedestal that she's on now. And I just love her. I love that she was able to rebrand her voice, rebuild herself.
Yeah, for this role.
Yeah, that's another thing that I wanted to tack onto my answer, because I do believe, as I sort of alluded to in the other part of my answer, I do believe that we can decide what to become and become that.
Yes.
So
and it doesn't have to be
that.
fixed.
Yes.
Yeah. And even if it is fixed in a way, we are still multifaceted. So we're allowed to have multiple identities. Like, we're allowed to like Ariana Grande and Muse, like two completely different genres. Like, we're allowed to like fully love both.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're both really good.
Yeah.
I don't know if you like Muse.
I love Muse. What's the song? Oh no. I'm not great with song titles right now.
I've kind of this past week rediscovered, quote unquote, their is it Black Holes and Revelations? What's that album called?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I played it and I'm like, oh, I forgot how good this album is, like front to back. No skips.
Yes. No skips.
No skips.
You definitely lived in the 90s when we had CD players. Remember when you've seen my
Spotify, how I have like hundreds of playlists? I have a playlist called No Skip Albums.
Oh my God. I gotta check that out. When I think I was 16 and I got like a CD player that had like 60 seconds of, what is it, anti-skip or some shit, where it would like basically, I don't understand exactly the technology, but basically like the player, like the brain of the player would play ahead 60 seconds so that like if a skip happened real time, you didn't hear it, because it was already like, it had already had the next 60 seconds for you like queued up.
Oh, weird. I wonder how it did that.
Yeah. I'm sure it was like digital somehow. Like it would just kind of copy the next 60 seconds into like a short-term memory, or like a RAM, for lack of a better term. And then it would just play off of that. Meanwhile, it's grabbing the next 60 seconds and the next and the next. You know what I mean? Okay. I'm probably like wrong, and somebody who actually designed it is like, yeah, that's not how it works. But anyway, I was 16 and so excited because my music was going to play continuously and I could just bop around to it.
Yeah. And now we do that on Spotify with, I think it's called the crossfade feature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had some music going the other day, and I was like, isn't this cool how, like, there's no fate, there's no stop,
Awkward
there's no moment?
silences.
Yeah. And then the transition, you're just like, wait, this is a different song.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that crossfade feature because I love arranging the playlist in a way where the end of one song really goes well with the beginning of the next song. Oh, I love that. I love that shit. I live for that.
Yes.
So fun.
It's like
now you know why I have hundreds of playlists on Spotify. That's like a hobby of mine.
You're just over there like tinkering with the beginning to end song transition. Yeah. I bet road trips with you are hella fun for that reason.
Yeah. Yeah. You'll never run out of music.
Yep. I love when it's like, this playlist is 92 hours long. And you're like, whoa, if I started playing now, like, that would stop playing on Sunday. Some shit.
Yeah.
Right?
I made a playlist for I'm going to Germany at the end of this month.
I was gonna ask you about that. Yes. Tell me.
So I made a playlist that's, let me see how long it is. Because my flight's 14 hours.
Is it direct?
Direct, yeah.
Okay. Amazing.
10 hours. So I still need to add 4 more hours.
You need some more tunes.
But I also have another playlist downloaded. Like I have my favorites, and then I have you done this before? I made a playlist of songs specifically for my inner child.
Yes.
And I have like the opening song is what is it called? I Love You Always Forever by Donna Lewis. And I've been like dancing with my inner child every morning to that song. Because she's so excited that we're going to Germany finally.
Aww. I can see you like just grabbing her little hand and just saying, let's go, come on. Let's
go home.
We're going home. So good.
My eyes are watering.
Aww. It has to be like surreal and just unbelievably amazing. You're not even there yet. It's so exciting.
I've been packed already for a month. I'm serious. My suitcase is done.
How do you
all
have
that needs
clean
to be
underwear?
added is like that's the only thing. Socks and underwear is the only thing that needs to be added, but I have like everything else is in there.
Wow.
And it's been packed for a month. And I'm not leaving for another 2 weeks.
Teach me your ways.
I usually procrastinate packing. I usually pack the night before, but I'm like, I'm ready to go. Let's go now.
Wait, when's my flight?
It's hot here, so like I don't need the winter clothes that I'm gonna need over there, so that makes it easier.
True.
Yeah.
True. So the last time you were in Germany, you were 2 and some change, right?
Yeah, I had just turned 3.
Okay.
We left
3 and some change.
A week after my 3rd birthday. Yeah.
This is insane. And what city were you born in?
Bremen.
Okay.
It's in northern Germany.
Okay. Is this where you're going?
The locals there just say Bremen. That's where I'm going, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I'm so excited.
And who are you staying with?
My dad, my grandmother.
Oh.
I still have family there. Only my mom and I came here. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's going to be crazy. I'm going to have to remember to do, this is kind of documenting it, but I'm going to have to remember to do some like video diary entries and write about it.
While you're there, you mean?
Yeah, while I'm there, maybe take some voice notes.
Oh, yeah.
Because I want to remember what this felt like. Like, this is a big fucking deal.
Yeah. Well, how old are you now?
34. I'll be 35 in December. So
it's
been a 31-year journey.
Yeah. This is like, did you ever see The Martian?
Is that based on a book?
Yes.
I think I've read the book.
Okay.
But I haven't seen the movie.
I think it's like Mark Wahlberg that plays the guy. And you're like him. He gets trapped on Mars. And no one can get back to him for like so long. He was only gone for 4 years, Celia. You've been gone for freaking almost not quite 4 decades, but going on.
Almost.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah,
wanted to
I
go
know.
home, but I bet you want to go.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It still doesn't feel real.
What's the first thing you're going to eat? Such an
It's a good
Ashley
question.
question.
It's a good question. Probably chocolate.
Yes. Good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Germany's like, I'm super German, by the way, also.
Yeah?
I have some like Irish, English stuff too, but Meyer, hello, Meyer. But yeah, Germany has like some strong things it's known for. Like the meats, the chocolates, the food, the drinks, the language, everything about it. The what's it called? The Autobahn, the cars, culture, technology. Like it's such a robust, like powerful place to be from. There's like so many facets that you could like really focus and get into. So,
I don't know yet what it's like, but my husband was there in April, and he was like,
"What?
Yeah, my husband was there for work.
Green card. Yeah.
I didn't have my green card yet, so I couldn't go.
I could have just punched him right in the arm, like really hard.
Yeah, no, he had to go for a work trip, and I couldn't go. And
that's some shit.
He was like, "You're gonna understand yourself so much more." And also, him being an engineer, he's like, "It's efficient here."
Yes,
the Autobahn works.
That's a great word.
Yeah,
it's crazy how close to your trip April was.
Yeah.
When he had to go.
And April was when I actually sent in all my paperwork for my green card. And it was really stressful because I decided not to hire a lawyer and to do it myself. I was like, I'm going to mess this up. But I was watching all the YouTube videos, reading all the articles of like the legal jargon. And I'm just like, I'm going to do it. We're going to do this. It's correct. Let's send it off.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Okay. People wait like years to get their green card back.
I think it's because I was already married for 2 years by the time I applied.
Okay.
And I had DACA for 11 years. So I have like a long history.
Yeah.
And I think it also helps that I didn't change my name through marriage. My husband took my name.
Okay.
And I think that possibly helps the process because there's no confusion. Like all the paperwork has my name that I have now on it.
Right.
I also sent a thank you letter to Joe Biden.
Oh, that's nice.
For the DACA program, because he was vice president when that happened.
Aww.
Because I read on Reddit that if the White House is notified of your case, that it can be like pushed along. So I'm like,
oh, wow.
Let's send Mr. Biden a thank you note.
Look at you. Fucking genius.
I don't know if it helped.
It did.
But...
Are you kidding me? We're talking about energy and shit like that. That's really powerful. And you sent an actual physical thing into the world. It freaking helped. I'm sure it did.
Yeah. Yeah, 4 months.
100%.
That's how long it took.
100%. I sent letters to my grandmother who had pretty like late stage Alzheimer's, mostly nonverbal. Did those letters matter? Bet your ass they did. And they read them to her.
because of the energy behind them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They would read them to her, and I'm told, because this was during COVID, and she would just bawl. She would just sob. Yeah. And
dang,
that was our connection. And so many fucking things in this world are like tangible, touchable things. And that's not it. Like that's a part of it. But there's more. This is a fucking Wizard of Oz. You want to talk about Wicked? It's all the shit behind the curtain, man. It's the shit behind the curtain. It's the energy. It's the intention.
Yeah.
It's the love.
Those body sensations like we talked about.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why it takes practice, because you can't just touch it and look at it and engineer your way to, do a calculation. Thank God we have machines and technology now that can measure certain things. But I think that was the origin of faith, was that a lot of this, it was just a concept, and not provable, not touchable, tangible. right?
Mm.
And our brains like to wrap around things and fully grasp and know and have this thing called certainty.
But certainty might be an illusion. How can we really be certain?
How can we be certain of anything?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm certain that I don't necessarily need certainty. It's the letting go, right? And this is a bit of a nuance because as the hero in the mirror, it means that I'm in charge. My mother would be appalled, but I'm God. I'm the God of this experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also, so it can be both. This is that like two things both being true.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm the God of this experience, and also I'm not in control of everything that comes into this experience.
Yeah.
I can't say, no, I don't want that. I get
Yeah.
to navigate things that sometimes are unexpected, undesirable.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it definitely is nuance because
Yeah.
I think we were saying earlier about that persistence and that practice to
Yeah.
do something. And in order to have that, we have to be certain with what we want. We have to decide, this is the thing I want. This is my goal. This is what I want. But how we will get there, that's the tricky part, because we might think we know how we can get there, but along the way, as we're working our plan, we have to be open to new ways of getting there. Otherwise, our control to get to that thing we want will cut us off from possibilities, cut us off from new, maybe even faster ways of getting to that thing that we want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you had this beautiful idea 100% to everything you're saying about it potentially being faster, some unknown way that I'm not forcing because I'm not even aware of. But back to your letter, what if it just landed on some immigration person's desk by mistake? What if it never even made it to the president or the vice president at the time? I apologize. And you know, like you don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it actually mistakenly ended up somewhere else, not intended, but that had a greater impact. So a lot of people I know in the self-help space, they say something like, for the highest and best of everyone involved. So this is what I want, and this is what I'm working towards. You know, for me, building my coaching business and being in the world and, you know, creating podcast episodes very much like this one. But let this be for the highest and the highest and best good of everyone involved. And so this thing that I desire, or something better, something higher that I can't see or conceive of. And that's the part that I let go of. That if I'm sort of off, cool. Just let it be something higher and better for everybody.
Yeah. I think that also subconsciously opens up your subconscious mind to creative ideas.
Yeah.
Because you're kind of telling it, like, here's the thing I want, and I'm open for the possibilities of how to get there. And I feel like that does something very, I don't know, you can't describe it really. It does some magic. It's like witchcraft. The good kind.
The good kind.
Not the evil witchcraft, because it's for the highest good of all.
Listen, I've seen Wicked. I'm not sure which one is good and which one's evil. It's confusing.
Good point. And turn on a light, because it's getting dark.
Yeah, it's dark here now as well. Yeah. I also wanted to chat a little bit, Celia, about your niching down and everything that you've been able to articulate so well about love and sexuality and just worthiness. And I think that for people who've been in toxic relationships, which are fucking painful, frustrating, You know, a lot of it is like, it's that forcing energy. It's the wanting this love experience or this relationship, whatever it is, to look a certain way, feel a certain way, fulfill certain needs, and then either the other person in the relationship or you find yourself not loving freely, is what I wanted to say about that
Mm,
niche. Because I believe the truest definition of love is that it is unconditional for no reason. And so
mm,
within a toxic relationship of any kind, there are boundaries crossed all the time, left and right. There's no consideration or love for the other party because you're just walking all over them, right? And when
mm.
we allow someone to do that to us, it means we have a love issue within ourselves. We are not giving ourselves free love because we
Yeah.
think we need to earn it from this person. I have to get them to treat me better, love me better, make me feel better. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's all grabby, right?
Mm-hmm.
But love is not that.
Yeah,
Love
no.
is free.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. Well, when you shared your niche, I was like, oh my God, yes. Yes. And I think I messaged you something like about that. But then what came for me was that love is free. So yeah,
Yeah.
you're welcome. I wanted to share that.
Yeah. I loved what you said about that it should be unconditional. And I'm curious, what is your definition of unconditional?
So without conditions is probably the exact, I'm not sure
Mm-hmm.
what Oxford would say, right?
Yeah. Should we look it up?
We could look it up. I did live in England for 3 years,
Let's see.
but I never went to Oxford. But to me, while you're pulling that up, to me,
That
unconditional
subject.
means that if I want you to have the bluest of blue eyes and, this like nice ass or a certain body or what, like an income level that is like $16 million a year, and I want you to drive a Tesla, like, we don't think that our love is that superficial, but it looks really sexy on somebody when they do have those things,
Mm,
So I think that some of us need to check ourselves. And it's like,
yeah.
no, I love them. Like, I really, and it's like, okay. And actually, I'm glad you asked because, what is this song? I think it's Mortal Man. I'm sure I brought this up before by Kendrick Lamar. And he's talking about, is that even the right song? He's talking about if I'm in prison, will you
Uh-huh.
love me then? If I have 25 years to life, do you love me then? Like, is that what our love looks
Mm,
like? And
mm,
I was listening to that song and I was like, my mom loves me like that, but do I even love myself like that? Like, I would be really tearing myself apart over what I did to end up in prison for 25 years, first of all.
uh,
But
yeah.
but who in my life would still be there on the other
Yeah.
end of a 25-year sentence? And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh my God, when you start to think about love like that, to me that's unconditional. It says,
Mm-hmm.
I believe you if you say that you didn't do whatever these charges are, Or maybe you did, but I still
People
love
make
you.
mistakes.
Yes. Yes. And I think what I'm saying in not so many words is that love is a choice.
Yeah,
You
for
choose
sure.
it. You choose it and
Yeah.
then you practice it. And you give
Yeah.
it away.
Yeah. Yeah. But you also receive it.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think you have to receive unconditional love from yourself before you can be open to receiving love from others. And I choose to say love from others because I have an unpopular opinion that nobody can unconditionally love you except yourself.
Tell me more. I'm leaning in. I must know more.
So, which was why I was curious about the definition.
Yeah. Okay.
So, looking up
First.
the definition of unconditional is not very helpful because it just says not subject to any conditions. So then I looked up the definition of conditions.
Okay.
And let's see what it says. There's a couple of them. The state of something with regard to its appearance, quality, or working order. Okay.
Yeah.
The circumstances affecting the way in which people live, work, especially with regard to their safety or well-being.
Conditions.
Having significant influence on or determine the manner or outcome of something. Okay. So here's why I don't think other people can unconditionally love you. I think because the people that know you in your life, they know certain things about you. They can expect that, like, she's not a morning person, or she likes this that way. And like, we learn who the people are. And then through that, the love is technically not unconditional. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I think it's actually impossible for an external person to be completely without any conditions with their love. And I personally find it very freeing because then it becomes my responsibility to love myself unconditionally. And the more I can do that, the better relationships I can have in my life. Because then I'm not coming to a relationship craving that unconditional love, because I already, like, my unconditional cup of love inside of my body is already filled.
Right. Would you say that you then don't expect other people to love you unconditionally if you don't believe it's even possible? And if so, how do you establish a baseline of what you will tolerate and what you will not tolerate from someone in relation with them?
Yeah, it's a great question. I feel like the piece with not expecting people to unconditionally love you, for me, my interpretation of it is that I am accepting that humans are imperfect. And if, for example, my husband and I get in an argument and he gets a little heated and maybe he uses a tone of voice that would have triggered me in the past, because I expect that he's flawed and not perfect because he's a human, I no longer take that as a trigger, or I don't take it personally. I'm just like, okay, we need a little bit of a break from this conversation. It's kind of like expecting humans to make mistakes, but not in a way where it's like, okay, I'm just going to give up on love. It's more in a way of like having radical acceptance. I don't know if that makes sense.
Well, it's interesting because I wonder if deciding that no one is capable of unconditional love outside of yourself and everyone being capable of unconditional love being the same thing. Here's what I mean. You just said that you have decided that his imperfections, in the case of your husband, are okay with you. They're acceptable. In other words, you unconditionally accept him for those. So while I love what your explanation does for you, in that you turn inward and you then say, well, I'm the only one who can give it to myself, so I'm going to do that. I love that. Keep that. I also find it very, very interesting that it sounds to me like you're still giving unconditional love to someone because you have decided to do so. Because you said he doesn't need to be worthy or earn this. There's nothing he could do. You know, like what if every time he wanted to use the tone, but he knew that it triggered you, he went, it's going to trigger her. Okay, let's adjust my tone. And then he would, change, which it sounds crazy, but we expect people to do this. And it's like, well, shit, that's not unconditional.
And we can't control that. Like, we can't force the people around us to change, but when our inner world changes, our reaction to what might have triggered us before is then different.
Yeah.
Like since we talked about nervous system in the beginning, our nervous system takes that input to mean something else. Like, it no longer means I'm not safe. Yeah. I love how you took what I said and went on that journey where it's like, well, yeah, both things are actually true.
Both
really
are true.
Cool.
Both
love
are
that.
true.
Yeah. There's also a second part of your question that I didn't answer about how do you then set boundaries? I think it was you asked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I said standards, but boundaries are the same.
Standards and boundaries, yeah. I think for me, it's because when I focus on unconditionally loving myself, then I have a deeper relationship with what I call my inner mother. And she is like, I guess, my guide of what I tolerate and what I don't. She's like, we're not here for this anymore.
Wow.
Because for me, the more I unconditionally love myself, the more I notice these different parts of me, like my inner child, my inner mother, my inner caretakers, inner cheerleaders. Like, we have all these different personality parts because we are multifaceted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of my friends who were in my same coaching certification with me, we kind of joke, we're like, yeah, we're basically all schizophrenic.
I'm saying, like, truly.
Yeah. We all have all these multiple personalities. We just know how to, I guess, stay grounded through that.
Yeah.
Because I think the grounding is what's missing when you get into that territory of it being a mental.
For sure. Right. Yeah. I wonder if, in the same way that I described my thoughts before, how I was the witness watching them zing around.
Yeah. The witness is also a personality piece. Yes.
But if that isn't, like, for lack of a better word, maybe a bit of a higher order personality, the personality which is like the main one, again, terms here are bad. But then from that persona perspective, we can then witness inner child, inner father, inner mother, inner all the stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what you just said is really important, because there needs to be that connection, in my opinion, with the more empowered parts of ourselves before we can dive into inner child. Because if you're diving into inner child for the very first time, that can be very triggering. Like, there can be a lot there to work with, and it's very supportive if you've already connected with other parts of yourself that feel more empowering and, I guess, strong, or like higher order, like you said. Yeah.
Do you have another name for that particular persona, which is, you said higher order, but that was my word, or more empowered? Is there another way of saying that to you, in your experience?
I just say empowered identities because there can be multiple. So I don't know if there's... Oh, can you hear me?
I hear you now.
I think we cut out for a second.
Okay. I was asking
I'm going to turn on the second light in my room. Hold on.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it was on your end or mine. Could have been either. I was asking if you have a better term or way of describing that empowered version,
Yeah, I honestly call it the witness.
Okay. I've read some books that call it that too.
I do think we have multiple empowering identities, but when you talk about that one that's like the higher order, I would say it's the witness. Okay. And that's something that's even talked about in like meditation space or yoga.
Yeah.
That witness that's like kind of relaxed back into the seat of yourself.
The seat of the soul. I was just thinking Gary Zukov. Okay. Yeah. So what are these other empowered identities for you? Like, if the witness is the higher order, but there are other empowered. Which ones are those?
It's different for everyone.
For you.
Me, for me, they're also, as you do this work, more and more will be discovered. So there's the witness, the inner mother. I also have this inner goddess that I call Gaia. She has long, flowy hair, and she's kind of like if a tree was a person.
Whoa. I like that imagery.
Yes.
Huh.
I'm also working on connecting with this inner warrior man. That's like, I guess, my inner, I don't know if it's my inner father or not. I'm still working on the connection. Sometimes when you discover these identities, they don't want to talk to you right away.
Oh, shit.
Or there's, there needs to be some trust being built.
Okay.
My inner teenager is another one that I love to connect with. She's very creative. She is who I channel when I make my playlists. That's like the activity we do together. And my inner child has also become an empowering identity.
What?
Yeah.
How?
I think it's just the more you connect with your inner child, the more soothed she is. And then it becomes like this relationship that I would imagine you would have with your own child, where they reflect things to you that you wouldn't have noticed. Or they say, like, I have a friend who has a daughter. And when her daughter was like 2, they were changing like outfits to go to the pool or something. And her daughter touched her mom's bare belly and was like, I love your belly. It's so beautiful. And this is a friend who's like, she carries a little bit of extra weight in her belly. So she's never viewed her belly as beautiful.
My God.
And that's why I think the inner child can be such an empowering identity, because that innocence that a child has brings this different perspective. Yeah. Which I'm sure you know since you're a mom.
Oh, God, yes. Do I know? And now I'm like, duh, Ashley, of course that can be like a wise part. And I think I've told you this before, but as I'm parenting, what is that? I'm so aware that like I might be in a teaching moment or like a modeling. I like to say modeling because he's going to pick up what I do and what I am so much more than what I teach. But as I model things, I'm aware that all of this, anything I say or do, is through my lens. And so what assumptions have I made, forgotten that I made, and now I'm just projecting how the world is to a pure blank slate human?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I think I need to reconsider some assumptions here. Because I find myself saying things, I'm trying to think of a good example, even like dinner time. Like, it's time to sit down and eat dinner. Well, who says? Oh, just because I've done dinner at 6 p.m. every night for 18 years or however many years I've been doing that. So it's dinner time. Come do the ritual of dinner. Right? But why? Who says? Is there a better way to do dinner? A better time? And just maintaining
Is your body
that
hungry?
openness. Is your body hungry? Yes.
Yeah.
So crazy. And I know I've told you this before, that I am not actually parenting. I think I am being parented as well. So that goes both ways.
Yeah, I bet.
In the best way.
So I have this set of questions I like to ask every guest.
Yeah.
And I thought now would be a good time to
Now is a great time. Oh, okay.
Yes. Okay. The first question is, what does self-love mean to you? It means Feliz Navidad.
Cheers.
I said that with such a white person accent. Feliz Navidad.
Feliz Navidad.
Feliz Navidad. There we go.
Prospero año y felicidad. Um,
Maybe we should release this episode on Christmas Eve.
There we go. It's been a theme. We've also talked about Wicked and Halloween, though, so
Yes.
could just wait until. No, you'll be in Germany by then. Actually, when do you fly out? What day?
October 30th.
Okay. You'll have Halloween in Germany?
There's no Halloween there.
I know, but you can take it with you.
It's Saint Something's Day on the 31st. I forget who. But it's a holiday on the 31st there as well. I just don't know which one. And it's my grandfather's birthday.
Ooh.
So he's really excited I'll be there.
That is exciting. What a gift for him. I think that self-love for me is all the things that I want to do for other people. Like making someone tea, rubbing their shoulders, sending them a note and just say, hey, like you crossed my mind today and I'm actually doing something about that. I'm reaching out. I try to be that friend. So it would be all of those same considerations, only spun back 180 degrees on myself. Not only those gifts, but life's indulgences, like taking the time to notice what songs are really lighting me up in the moment, cranking the fucking volume on those, changing the song when I notice this ain't the vibe, never was probably, even though other people like the song. It's fine. Self-love is also, how do I say this, when you're the one leaving the country. I love to travel so much. And when I can just take myself to a new perspective, right now, with a 1.5 years, almost 2-year-old, it's not that practical. It's also...
I'm sure that's given you a different perspective, though.
It's a new perspective, but I want to take him. Like, I'd go to Germany. Yo, kid. But what's really on my mind is that he might not remember some of this shit. And so I'm like, you know, let's give it like 2 years, 3 years, when like 5, 6, now I know we're really storing some core memories. Yeah. Not that what we're doing now is not important. It is, but so traveling is really important. And right now I'm finding that if I can just like locally find a different space than I've ever noticed before. Like a couple weeks ago, I went around town photographing all the murals. Our town, Dubuque, Iowa, has a ton of different murals. And cool. I found some that I had never noticed before. So it felt like a journey without really going anywhere. And sometimes, I don't know why I'm really fascinated by bridges. So if I just like find like a cool underbridge space or, you know, like a hilltop where I can see a brand new perspective. And Dubuque's also really good for that because it has a lot of cliffs and hills and like big rocky formations. So just doing things like that, they're so refreshing for my mind because I can feel, you know, trapped in the same room, the same space, same whatever. Sometimes it's just going outside, and it's just a gift of self-love because life is meant to be felt deeply. And when I'm not feeling it deeply, I'm too much like in the rut, in a grind, or whatever that is that kind of like takes over. Let's call it the haze. The fogginess. That's not it. That's not self-love. That's not even living. So just doing things that make me come alive, make me smile, you know, be my silly, silly self.
I love that. That was a great answer.
I love myself. I do.
Yeah, it's such a good reminder that it's so easy for a lot of people to extend love outwardly. Like you mentioned, the making the tea for someone else, or hey, I was thinking of you, so I'm acting on that and sending you a message. And I think that's a good reminder that because it's easy for us to do it to other people, you could just as easily do it for yourself.
Yeah.
And I don't know why it's so common to feel the disconnect in that. Like why it's so much easier to do it outwardly. I wonder if it's a part of how we're socialized to like caretake.
Yeah. That is a really, really fascinating question. And I think it's got to be partially because, you know, when you like witness something and it comes into your awareness, but like it's an external thing. It's very much an external thing. Like, let's go back to the tone example with your husband.
Mm-hmm.
You picked up on that. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because it was actually something inside of you.
Yeah.
And so the love, which is coming out to other people, what I mean to say is it's a direction problem. Like if there was an arrow pointing out from inside my heart, my chest, wherever love is, my mind, if the arrow was pointing out, what does the arrow actually mean? It's love coming in. It's because I'm being love.
Yeah.
That's an incredibly loving experience to be love. It's like a glass. Like if I poured this out right now all over my laptop, not only would it be ruined, but it would just flow love from the cup. Because the cup, you know what I'm saying? Like when you pour something out, it comes out. Why? Because that's what's in it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So it's a directional problem. Like when we're pouring love out, we're forgetting perhaps that we are love. So maybe then what we do is just make love a practice.
Yeah.
Loving self, just make it a practice.
Mm-hmm.
Because how do you love other people in your life better?
By loving yourself.
By loving yourself better.
Yes.
It's 1 + 1. It's like, you know, all the rising tide is going to raise all the ships in the harbor. More love is more love. It's not less for me. If I give you more love, I don't have less because it doesn't work that way. Like when we were talking about kids earlier, when you have a second child, do you love them less? No. It doesn't work that way. Right? I got really into Jewish mysticism. I think part 2, I mentioned this in our conversation.
Oh, in our episode?
Because, yes, because during Hanukkah, there's like a lighting of candles. And why do they do that practice? It's because when one flame lights another, it doesn't take away from the original flame. How many freaking candles can you light? It's an amazing analogy. How many candles can you light? All the candles. All of them. In the whole world, you could just light and light and light and light and light. And if you exchange the word for love, you can love and love and love and love.
Mic drop.
I just hit it. It's the same thing.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I wanted to give one tidbit before we get to the next question, which I'm eager for.
Okay.
Set a trigger. If you find yourself struggling and you're the person who's loving the shit out of other people and you forget yourself all the time, this is me. Hello. Learn from my healing, right? Set it as a trigger. When you find yourself doing something really loving for someone else, I'm being loving for someone else. Okay, now I remember that's going to remind me to love myself. That's what a trigger is. Just a reminder that you put in place like a flag in the ground or a stake. Every time you find yourself loving someone else, being generous, being thoughtful, being patient, anything. Oh, whew, look at me. I'm being so loving. Let me turn some of that on myself right now.
Thank you for that. Yeah. Okay. So the next question is, what is your favorite part about being a woman?
Oh, God. How long do we have? Oh, Celia.
I don't have anywhere to be, so.
How do I have never been asked this question. Whew, but it feels good in my body. So
Yay, good.
thank you for the question. This is
You're
fun.
welcome.
I only recently came into this word like androgyny,
Hmm.
and I get that from people a lot. I think I probably am like to a degree, but I'm so in my feminine. Like I'm in it. I have a lot of
Hmm.
masculine, a lot of it. But I'm really in the feminine. So this is why I'm like really enjoying this question. Um my favorite? How do you it's
Feel
like
free to take
picking.
all the time you need for the answer to reveal itself to you.
Okay.
Because this happens. People are like thrown back by the question. They're like, whoa. That's why I
I'm
ask it.
I know. It's keep this question forever. It's
Hmm.
amazing. I love taking breaths as a woman, like taking up space. Just
Mm.
oh god, I could go so many different directions. Like the women who are inside of me who have come before, like whose shoulders I'm standing on, like energetically I can feel them. I feel their resonance,
Mm.
their power, their, the feminine is the creative. When you describe your inner teenager, she's super creative. I wonder if she's just not like feminine as hell,
Yeah, she
because
is.
those they just mm, like the flowy, dancey, flowery, gorgeous, soft. I don't know, like all of it. But not only are these just words, but I'm like feeling these words right now.
Mm.
And then I'm okay, I have to be careful not to walk over into the masculine because they're like a little bit, maybe haven't necessarily separated them in terms of
Well,
my
I don't
like
think they
inner
can be separated, and
defined. What I meant
I don't
is
think
defined.
woman means feminine technically. Like,
Okay, tell me more about this. This will inform my answer,
yeah.
perhaps.
Yeah, I think feminine and masculine are energies that
Yeah,
everyone has, and it's not dependent on woman, man, or non-binary or gender fluid. Like, it's not
yeah,
dependent on that. I like to describe feminine and masculine as a yin yang. You know what a yin yang looks like, right?
yes,
You know how the side that has white has a little dot of the black inside, and the side
yeah,
that's black has a little dot of the white inside?
yeah,
Because you can't fully
yeah.
separate them. And if you do
Okay.
fully separate them, in my opinion, that's where you get into a little bit of the toxic kind of gaslighty behavior
Mm,
where I've seen it in like my realm of relationship coaching where they're like,
wow.
women have to be
Yeah,
surrendered at all times, and they're basically telling you how you quote unquote have to be because of they're
yeah,
muddying.
yeah.
They're thinking that feminine energy equals woman when it does not.
Ooh. Okay, so restate the question for the kid in class who's in the back row, really trying to hang on and wants to
Yeah.
understand desperately,
Yeah.
which is
Okay.
me, by the way. That's me. So, can you repeat the question?
So the question is, what is your favorite part about being a woman? And with what I also just said, it's like it's up to you to define what woman is for yourself.
Yeah,
Like
I guess you're
woman
right. For a
doesn't
second.
mean one thing. Like it means something different to everyone, and it should mean something different to everyone. I just don't think
Yeah,
we take the time to pause and think about what it means to you individually,
yeah.
which is part of why I asked this question. No one asks us, what's
It's
your
an
favorite
amazing
part?
question. Even if I don't have a succinct answer that comes out of my mouth, just having been in the question is quite the experience. Okay, my favorite part of being a woman. Let's also admit how unfair the question is. I think I said that before, but to choose a favorite of anything, especially for
Mm,
somebody who's like high on life like me. Oh my God. Okay. I love sex also. Let's say that.
And we have way more variety with our anatomy of sex.
Yes, we do.
Yes. Way more variety, way more orgasms.
Yes. Holy shit. Orgasms. That's on the list. That's part of being a woman. I mean, it's part of being a man, but I'm going to just take many multiple favorites. I'm not going to seek
Okay.
your approval for that.
Yeah, no,
But
please don't.
Okay. How is that for some woman power? Oh, yes. Like there's something about when you walk in a room and you are a woman. I guess I carry this awareness of that, and it's like a power. It's like an honor, really. It's like a freaking honor. And I like that's a really big deal to say out loud, Celia, because I think for a while I wondered why I was a girl. And girls turn into women typically.
Yeah.
Sometimes they choose not to. But I turned into a woman from a girl, and we also in part 1 or part 2 we discussed this really, really vulnerable story that I have where my body was forming. I didn't like it. I couldn't undress in front of myself. But now I just said that it's an honor to walk into a room, and I heard myself say that.
You said it's an honor to walk in a room as a woman.
As a woman. As a woman. Yes. I was implying that. Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's because of the power that we have, the creative power and just power in general, too. Like, this goes with another thing that I was taught, probably close to that whole, like, children are seen, not heard, or women are seen, not heard, or whatever that, thing is. And I so rejected that. Like, talk about my inner teen. She was like, fuck no. And so, like, the power of my voice being a woman, and this right now is especially important because I'm expanding my offerings into the podcasting space, and I want to uplift women's voices. I want to amplify women's voices. And so for me to own my own voice, that came first. That experience was and is insanely humbling, and it means I get to be intentional with how I speak, who I speak to, what I say, nuances. Yeah. Something I'm considering that I took a few notes. It's so funny, like in preparing to chat with you today, I took some notes, but I'm pretty sure we've covered most all of it, even though I haven't looked at them.
Yeah. I love that.
One of the notes was about something my sister recently offered me. We had dinner like last month, and she was saying, Ashley, you have a powerful voice, and just be aware sometimes how it can be a fire hydrant. And I was like, oof. Yeah. Yeah. But like sometimes a fire hydrant is needed. And sometimes there's like a drip. And I was like, oh, okay. So what does this moment call for? The moment that I'm walking in as a woman, having something to say, adding something to a space that I'm in. Is this a fire hydrant moment? Is this a drip moment? Like planting seeds, right? Sometimes like a strategic silence. Whew. Damn. That woman didn't need to say anything, but she said it all.
Yeah.
This has just been a preview of my favorite aspects of being a woman.
Yes. Well, I look forward to asking you the question again.
Yes.
Because I'm sure I will have you on the show again.
Okay, let's go.
And it'll be cool to see how that question has like simmered
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just want to
Yeah.
celebrate that it's that two things. First, the piece that you shared about needing to go on that journey to uplift your own voice and how humbling that's been. So I celebrate that. And also celebrating that you are able to feel what you shared about walking into a room as a woman and feeling honored.
Yeah.
Because I know those two things were like little journeys you went on. Yeah. So I celebrate those two things.
Thank you. Oh,
You're welcome.
It's like you're witnessing a couple of my empowered personas and just
Yeah, that's
saying,
so
I
true.
see
I didn't
you.
even notice that.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
So cool.
Thank you.
So you're welcome. So for the people who are here, who are listening, tell us about where they can find you, your work, what it is you do, all of those things.
Yeah. I am.
Your podcast.
Oh my God. Well, I've already alluded to it. It's Hero in the Mirror, where I talk to experts a lot like yourself and just everyday people, typically women, who they want to feel alive. They want that vibrancy. And they're not going to settle anymore. Not for toxic relationships, not for a low paying job or, a numbing anything in life.
Mm-hmm.
They're just ready for more. They're ready to be heard and felt and seen. And so I have a coaching business under the name Hero in the Mirror, which is the same as the podcast. And that's the website, herointhemirror.com. And I also have a podcast editing division, which was created this summer. Yeah, after producing my own show for like 3.5 years now, I got really good at that part. And like I said before, I just want to amplify women's voices, help them articulate that message, get it into the world as easily and efficiently as possible. And for me, technology was a motherfucker at the beginning because I could record and I could have conversations all day, but then I would bottleneck and I would just sit on stuff and I'd never put it out. It hadn't been edited. Like it just was hard. It was this hard aspect of something that was supposed to be fun. And so now that's a service I provide to just do the editing, do all the production, adding music, all that stuff, and just keep podcasting fun for people who they have a message and it might be a little bit unclear or muddy. And the coaching side of what I do is where I can help people clear all that up. And then I really believe in having fun in whatever you're doing, because if you're not, then what's the point? So that's me. That's my work, and I love it.